It all started with that damn splash just before 7 a.m. to 6:45 on the dot. Like clockwork, jerking me awake as if someone had yanked the covers off. And there they were, two little heads bobbing around in my pool like it was their own splash zone. I'd barely finished settling into this new house on Oak Lane. Having sunk most of my savings into building that pool, my one luxury after endless nights buried in code for a growing startup, it was supposed to be my sanctuary. But apparently, Lisa Hartman, my new next-door neighbor, got the memo. Or just didn't care. Her kids, Sophie and Jake, treated it like public property from the beginning. No knock, no heads up, just laughter, cannonballs, and sticky footprints across my deck. I tried to let it slide at first, figured maybe they were just excited. I'd stand at my kitchen window, coffee trembling in hand, watching 8-year-old Sophie with her wild mop of curls, while 10-year-old Jake launched himself off the side like an Olympic hopeful. And Lisa? She'd stroll over eventually in a bathrobe, mumble something like, "Be nice, guys," and then disappear back inside. I'm not good with confrontation. Never have been. I'm Alex Thompson's software guy. Introvert. Problem solver through code. Not conflict. But by the third uninvited pool party in 1 week, I cracked the sliding door open and said, as calmly as I could, "Lisa, this has to stop. They can't just jump in whenever." She blinked at me like I'd just insulted her grandmother. "Come on, Alex, they're kids, they're just playing." When I was young, neighbors shared everything. It's how real communities work. Then, with a smirk, "Besides, you're gone most days anyway. Might as well get some use out of it." That stung. Because yeah, I'm single, recently divorced, and spending 60-hour weeks trying to make a dent in the tech world. But that didn't make my backyard fair game. It wasn't just the intrusion. It was how she made me feel like I was the one overstepping. Like I was being selfish for asking for basic respect. Like owning something meant I was hoarding joy. I stayed patient. Documented everything, timestamps, footage of them hopping the fence, wrappers bobbing in the water, muddy handprints even. A busted planter. I thought maybe if I had proof she'd back off. But then one Friday, I came home to find a beach ball, pool noodles, ton of feet and snacks, littering the water like they'd thrown a party in my absence. Something inside me flipped. I walked out. Voice, even but firm. "Lisa, this has to end. They're trespassing. If one of them gets hurt, guess who's liable? Not you." Her face dropped. Just for a second, then flushed with rage. "Are you threatening my children?" she snapped. "Have you been recording them?" "That's creepy, Alex." The kids froze. Lisa herded them out through a broken section in the fence, one they'd clearly pried wider over time. As they walked away, I heard Jake whisper, "Why is he so mad, Mom?" And her reply cut deep. "Because some people care more about fences than neighbors. Property doesn't make you better." That stayed with me. Not because it was true, but because it was manipulative. I'd never said a word about her late-night bonfires, the barking dog, or the HOA drama she stirred up over everyone's landscaping. But now I was the villain? That weekend I'd had enough. I called Jenkins Construction and got a quote. And at 7 o'clock sharp the next morning, a backhoe rolled in to start tearing out the pool. Lisa stormed over, hair wild, robe flapping, barefoot and furious. "You're seriously tearing it out, just to punish my kids?" I sipped my coffee, calm but buzzing with adrenaline. "I'm upgrading the space, making it my own." She didn't hear a word over the sound of the drain pump whining. Neighbors began gathering. Tom across the street lingered with his paper, and Mrs. Jenkins from 2 doors down shuffled over with her walker, eyes wide. Lisa ranted to anyone listening. "This is what happens when you try to be generous. He thinks a fence gives him the right to destroy happiness." But then the water dropped low enough to reveal it's Sophie's pink goggles. Jake's inflatable shark, their junk tucked in every corner. It wasn't imagination. It was their playground. She turned pale, but didn't quit. She called city code enforcement, the HOA, and even tried to cite me for neighborhood disruption. All dismissed. By noon, half the pool was rubble, and she made one final plea, dragging her kids over. "Alex, it's Jake's birthday this weekend. Just one last party. I'll pay you $50 a month. I'll supervise. For a second, I hesitated. Remembered what it was like to be a kid with nowhere to swim. But then months of frustration came flooding back. No, Lisa, you didn't ask. You took. And now your kids think that's okay. That's on you. She spat, "You heartless jerk," and stormed off with a look that chilled me. That's when the real retaliation began. It started small fake violations taped to my door, deliveries mysteriously rerouted to her porch, then bigger calls to the post office saying I'd moved. A CPS visit about threats to children, and later the police responding to concerns of aggressive behavior. My blood ran cold. I showed them everything, every video, photo, timeline. The caseworker from Child Services, Sandra, glanced at it all and sighed. This is clearly retaliatory. Even Officer Ramirez shook her head. Someone's abusing the system here. Lisa's curtain twitched when they left, but it all peaked on the day the concrete truck came to pour the foundation for my new Zen garden. Lisa lost it completely, screaming from her porch, climbing the fence barefoot, slipping into the wet soil. "Stop! You're destroying the neighborhood." She grabbed a shovel, hurled wet concrete at my table, shattering the glass top. Affects everyone. Kids need this space. I hit record, voice even. "Lisa, you're trespassing. Again. And now vandalizing." People poured out. Tom shouted, "Are you out of your mind?" Mrs. Jenkins gasped, phone in hand. Lisa screamed, "Property is theft," and called 911, claiming I was dangerous. But we had heard dozens of phones, footage from every angle. Officer Ramirez returned, this time with backup. "Mrs. Hartman, you're under arrest for trespassing, property damage, and filing a false report." Lisa's eyes widened. I'm the victim. But the pattern was clear. In the end, she pled guilty at 18 months probation, mandatory counseling. Her husband Mike wrote me a check for the damages and moved out with the kids. Before they left, a card showed up, crayon scribbled. "Sorry, Mr. Alex. Thanks for being fair. I keep it in a drawer, not as a trophy, but as a reminder that those kids weren't the enemy. They were just following their mom's lead. Now, where the pool once was, I've got a quiet rock garden, a place to breathe. It's more me than the pool ever was. But sometimes I wonder, was it too much? Did I take it too far? Or did I just refuse to be taken advantage of? So tell me, what would you have done? Did I go too far? Or was this the only way to reclaim peace? Let's talk boundaries, neighbor drama, and what justice really looks like in suburbia. Drop your stories. I'm listening.